Bandai has stopped discriminating and we finally have more than one good black deck. So today we're going to be looking at Moria. Specifically, we're going to be going over a game I played where I made some very small mistakes in the early game that made the rest of the game kind of difficult for me. Before we look at the game, I want to give y'all a quick list of common mistakes in Moria so you can look over it while watching my game. That way you have more mistakes than when I made during my game, and that way y'all might even catch mistakes that I didn't even see myself. Y'all can just comment those down below. And with that being said, let's go ahead and look at some of these mistakes. Common Moria mistakes. So the first one we're going to look at is letting your trash have limited options. If you didn't open brand new or Sindri, or you only have Absalon and Hogback in your hand and no Perona, that means that we have very limited things to work with in trash, right? Like if we bot deck, like if we mill two, what if we mill two good cards and we just have to send those two back to the deck? No, we don't want that to happen. So when this happens, you might want to consider playing a Great Eruption early from your hand, or you might want to counter out earlier than you normally would. I'm going to show a perfect example of this in the game that I played. This is probably like the hardest tip to really grasp. So make sure you watch the gameplay because I show a very good example of that there. Next, a very common mistake is not discarding powerful cards like Lucci on time. So once we start getting back to our, 8 cost Moria returns and we're slamming those back to back, obviously Moria costs 8, which means we don't have enough Dawn left to use our leader skill. And this means that we can't discard counterless cards from our hand while we're chaining Morias. This means that we need to get cards like Lucci into the trash with our leader skill way earlier on in the game, because if we wait until we are ready to start playing 8 cost Morias, Lucci, we won't be able to discard it yet, right? Because we're using all our Dawn for Moria. So that's definitely a very common mistake that you want to watch out for. So just before you're getting to like that 8 Dawn turn, if you're going first, your 9 Dawn turn, make sure to discard what you need. Next up, we have discarding Borsalino and Kuzan too early. Especially when going first, a very powerful play on turn 4 is to use your leader skill, and then you top it off, pause, by playing Borsalino and Kuzan. So you play the Borsalino or your Kuzan, then you just use leader ability, bam, perfect 7 on turn play. You just established 2 bodies. Maybe you drew 2 cards because like or maybe you're up by 2 because you like discarded one of their cards with Perona, you drew off Kuzan, or you establish a Borsalino which they can't destroy without bot decking. So basically don't mindlessly discard Borsalino and Kuzans. Lastly, a very common mistake, at least one that I made when I first started playing Moria, was forgetting that this is not Sakazuki. So for example, right, if it's our non-Dawn turn and our opponent has Moria on their board, in order to clear the opposing Moria and 4 costs or less, we actually have to have 10 Dawn. In Sakazuki, when you Ice Age Moria, you can just attack with your leader, and the Moria becomes 2 Dawn, which means you can do Hell Mepo on a 4 cost, and then bam, you pop a 2 cost and a 1 cost. But in our deck, we actually have to Ice Age the Moria. Now it's 3 costs, and then we have to use the Hell Mepo or the Suru we play on the Moria in order to pop it on our 9 Dawn turn. But if we're at 10 Dawn, we can use Ice Age and Eruption. Bam, Moria is now at 1 cost, and then we can use Hell Mepo on a 4 cost, and that's how we can take 2 of them. So that's it for the common tips. If you guys want even more info on Moria, I did just drop a full Fury guide with matchup explanations, deck building, all of that on Patreon. So definitely check that out if you are a Moria. And with that being said, let's go ahead and look at the gameplay. All right, so let's go ahead and start looking at the gameplay here. I'm going to have it on 1.5 speed. This is a game that just glitched out, so just ignore this. But now we're going to look at it. So this is actually Moria versus Sakazuki. This is probably going to be one of the most common matchups. So very good example to be showing. As you can see here, he's going first, which that's whatever, right? But I'm just thinking on my mulligan. When I'm mulliganing for this deck, by the way, I'll just give y'all some sauce real quick. I'm mainly just hard mull for brand new, and that's because there's just so many like good plays. Like if I draw Perona by turn 2 or Kuzan or any of that, I'm happy. So I'm like, all right, I'm just hard mull for brand new. If I don't see it, I'll either see a Kuzan or a Perona, so I'm chilling. So we get that first brand new. And we actually hit some really good cards. I don't know if y'all pizza, but we hit Lucci and Sindri. And this is what led to my dilemma this game. Like, I was so confused because I'm not used to hitting a brand new and hitting like 2 really good targets off of it. So, you'll kind of see that I think for a bit on my next turn. So he'll be thinking here for a bit. If it takes too long, I'll just speed it up. But as you can see there, yeah, I have Sindri and Lucci in my trash. So these are 2 really good hits, right? Because if I mill a Hogback, bam, I have a 2k to grab from trash. Or if I mill 2 other good cards, let's say like I mill like a Hell Mepo or like a Perona or something like that, and I have to bot deck 2 cards, I'm gonna be in trouble for sure. So I'm hoping that I draw a Perona next turn. That way I don't have to make any decisions about returning stuff. And as you can see, instead I draw Absalon. So I'm looking at my trash here and I'm like, oh my god. So if I mill 2, I'm gonna have to return whatever the 2 cards I mill are, right? Unless I mill a 4 drop, then I have to get rid of the Sindri because like my trash is too good. So I swing 7 and you'll see that I play Absalon. And then as you can see, I mill a Hogback and a brand new. Just in case you guys don't know, brand new is actually really good to have in trash because you can revive it off of Moria. Then obviously Hogback is another 4 drop I want in my trash because let's say I send Hogback back, Absalon could get bot decked and then I just have nothing to do my leader skill with. So I'm actually gonna pause it here for a bit to talk about that. So I think that was a mistake. That was I think that's the first mistake here. I think that I should have used Great Eruption on this turn, or we'll see what happens on my following turn, or I have the option to like counter on my following turn. But I think Great Eruption on this turn would have been better because I would have been able to dig 1 card deeper to try to find a Perona. And even if I don't find Perona, I'm still fine with giving up the Eruption because I can hope to draw another Eruption later on. Or luckily I have 2 Surus in my hand, so I can use a Suru during my 10 down turn. So that's the first main mistake there. I definitely think I should use Eruption there because if y'all saw, I ended up having to bot deck brand new and Sindri, and that just wasn't it, right? Because now if I play Hogback next turn, I have nothing to grab back with this, so it's just like a dead Hogback. Meanwhile, if I use Great Eruption, I would have conveniently been able to grab back like a Sindri next turn, or I would have been able to leave brand new in my trash, which also would have been very strong as well. Because the brand new that's currently on my board is probably sticking, to be honest. Unless they do Great Eruption Lucci, but they don't really do that very often anymore. Just because they have like 20 searches for Houndblaze, and they just Houndblaze like their Tashigis or their brand news. But we'll see what happens here. So it's thinking again. We'll see if I speed this up. And yeah, you can see I'm even hovering over the Eruption. I'm thinking about it, and I actually typed in the chat here. I think I was supposed to use Eruption and use Hogback. I was actually streaming in a Patreon channel in my Discord server, so I didn't want to say it out loud because the person I was playing against was in the call. But look at this, and I explained it right. And like the other thing is, aside from having more options to discard, right, in case he destroyed my Absalon, I would have been able to do Hina plus Absalon. No, oh yeah, I would have been able to do Hina plus Absalon guaranteed on this turn. So he swings 6k here, and this is where I even had another opportunity. I could have guarded and gotten another oh actually no, it wouldn't have mattered at this point because I already got rid of the Sindri. So yeah, mainly I needed to Eruption. So I was like, okay, this kind of works out, right? Because I can just do Hina, play Hogback. So now the Hina Absalon play that I was worried about doesn't matter. But bam, look, I have nothing to play. And yeah, the Hogback's just dead. Like I could have an extra card in my hand right now if I chose to play Eruption on the last turn, which would have been fantastic, obviously. And then yeah, and I think that even evens out with the like me having to use a Suru later, because if I use a Suru instead of an Eruption, obviously I lose a card from my hand, but I would have already gotten a card from the Hogback while also having the opportunity to have drawn into another Great Eruption. So I think I definitely should have swung 6 and used Great Eruption because he would have taken the 6k swing anyways. So yeah, I'm like tripping out right now. I'm like, oh my god, I'd be up an extra card if I did Eruption. So it's like it's rough for sure. So let's continue to see what happens here. So he has the Borsalino and the Sakazuki. Borsalino is obviously very strong against Moria, right? Like I have no way to clear it unless I play 6 House Broke, which nobody plays, and I don't think is worth the space, to be honest. Like let's see the Borsalino on this turn. What am I gonna just 6 House Brook the Borsal? I know I'm gonna try to play the Borsalino. So let's see what happens. Here I have so many 5k attackers that he might just leave the Borsa standing. Oh, I'm gonna put you on another game. As you can see, I chose not to swing with my Absalon there. One, that's obviously because, right, he has a Borsalino, so I wouldn't want the free block. But also, I like to go down to about 2 life in this matchup because you just get to defend everything for free very easily. So that's why I chose not to swing with that. Maybe if there was no Borsalino, I would swing. Because being at 3 life is also fine, but I generally find that if I don't have many cards in my hand, like let's say I'm making mistakes like I did earlier, right, where I missed a Hogback and stuff like that, I think it's definitely beneficial to Yo, I lost my train of thought. Oh, to go down to 2 life because you have more cards to defend your 5Ks. Because when you and your opponent are doing Moria's back and forth, they use 8 Don. They use at least 8 Don to play Moria, right? So at max, they're swinging like 7K at a character, and the rest are 5K. So just by going down to 2 life, you have that extra card to defend your characters, basically. But as you can see here, I just do Moria, Borsellino, and I was kind of sad because I'm like, yo, if I did Eruption, even if I chose not to grab back the Sindri, right? Let's say I hit a Perona or something, I also had the opportunity to have brand new in my trash, which would have been great as well. Because I would have been able to revive a brand new off this Moria, and once again, I'd have an extra card in my hand. So right now, I'm really down like 2 cards for no reason, which kind of sucks. And imagine if I Eruptioned and I milled something that wasn't even a hogback. That means I'd be up like 2 cards right now, right? Because, wait, nah, it's whatever. It's 1 card basically. It's mainly 1 card. So let's see what happens here. Just pray they don't have Moria. This match has been weird. Like, I feel like Moria can't consistently sees a lot of ACOS Morias. Like, you have Hogback to get it back. Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? Like, Sakazuki does have Hogback. We have Hogback to get it back. So it feels like we have a lot of Morias. But when I've been playing against Sakazukis, I feel like I've only played like somewhere between 10 to 20 games. But I feel like it's been very rare where the Sakazuki player has pulled 2 Morias, which, you know, I guess kind of makes sense because they can't really retrieve it from trash. But at the same time, it just kind of blows. It just makes you think whether Sakazuki can consistently keep up with the Moria race. And as you can see, he doesn't have Moria here, which is very fantastic for us because I think Ice Age and Moria would have been bad for us. Either he doesn't have Moria or his trash is weak. I can't see his trash right now, so I guess next time I'm recording the video, I'll think about looking at his trash. That way y'all can see what's going on. But I just free block there. Why not, right? Like, I'm assuming he's going to use like the rest of his 7 down. So I'm like, okay, I'll just block with Borsellino, save a card in my hand. Here I'm like, okay, I can think about whether to use 2 2Ks or not. And I'm like, I might as well, right? Like, I already have the sauce in my hand. I know I'm going to be defending units for the next couple turns. Let me just keep an extra body. Then I'll decide what to do with Borsellino here. Probably just... I'm assuming Houndblaze, but maybe you wanted to do Marakumo, which bot decks 2 units. So we'll see what happens here. Or it could be like Houndblaze plus Lucci. Like, there's some options here. That Borsellino sticking was interesting though. Normally, if I had the cards to clear Borsellino, I would. Like, I would just like Eruption and then Hina, then Absalom. Then the next turn, I'm hoping to like Moria, Ice Age, and Eruption to get rid of their Moria in a 4-drop. And then I think that puts us in a pretty good position. Obviously, I didn't have it, though, which is why I just played the ACOS Moria. But, oh, he plays Tashigi, Hina, and then I'm assuming it's Marakumo, yeah. So, Marakumo bot deck 2 of them. I don't know what the English name is. I need to look at my OP06 stuff. I don't know what the English name is, but, that thing is deciding whether to attack 6K or not here. We'll see. It's really dependent on his sending attack 6K, and then I decide to guard 2K. That could be a tell there because he took a very long decision. I could decide to go for game here, but I'm just in such a strong position because he didn't have the Moria and he had to like Ice Age, Marakumo, Hina. He's down like 3 cards, right? I'm just in such a good position to where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just Ice Age. Well, first I'm gonna see what happens with these 5K swings. If he takes this one, I'm gonna swing 6K with Moria. If he doesn't take it, I'm gonna swing 5K. Then I might use Eruption to try to like dig for another Moria or something. I don't know. We'll see. I think 6K is right either way, but I think I just go 6K here. I don't think I need to use the Eruption. I think if I wanted to use the Eruption, it would be because I want to like try to draw into another counter to defend, which I think is fair. But I think I chose to keep Eruption in my hand just in case I top deck like a Hina or Rebecca. That way I can like do like Hina, Rebecca, Absalom. So yeah, that's why I kept Eruption, I think, which I think was the right choice. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just swing 6. Oh, actually swing 6 at Borsellino. Oh my god. In-game me is better than me right now. I think that was a beautiful play, right? Because now he didn't take both the 5K, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna swing at Borsellino. And if he defends this, he has to go down to 1 card in his hand, and he literally can't win, right? Like, I'm gonna just out-resource him for the rest of the game. Like, in order for him to play a Moria while clearing mine, he has to Ice Age a Moria. And that means he would have to already have an Ice Age or Moria in his hand, and he would have to top deck the other piece. So I think that was a very smart play by me there is better than me. Nah, I wasn't even thinking about that. So that was a very strong play, I believe. Okay, so she get Suru, that makes sense. Yo, it's just crazy right now, right? Like, it's crazy how much advantage he lost just from not having the first Moria. I guess this play was still suboptimal, right? Because he could have had like Rebecca, Hina, Lucci, which would have been strong as well. So I don't know. You can just chalk it up to being a low roll. So he does have the Moria, but as I said, right, like he would have to have Ice Age and the Moria to be able to clear my Moria, play the Ice Age. So makes sense. So he plays Rebecca, Brandon. That's a very strong play, right? Get some counter up, get your defense up. Then he probably swings 7K, has to leave the Borsellino up for defensive purposes. I think here I'm just hoping he misplays, right? Because if he swings at my Absalon, then I'm like, cool, I can just greater option Absalon, pop through Rebecca, then try to go for games. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, 7K, which, you know, makes sense. I think that's fair. I think 7K is a lot less riskier than going like 6-6. Because if I have a 2K, you just lose. Okay, so swings at Hina, right play, but I top deck the Absalon. I'm like, oh my god. All right, so I'm just thinking about the numbers in my head real quick. I think it's pretty simple, honestly. I think it's just 7 what is it? Is it 7-7 or is it 7-8-8-9? I think it can go either way. Okay, I'm going 7-8-8. I think that's fair. I'm trying to think if that was incorrect or not. Also could have played it safe and attacked into 2 of his little guys. Or no, you know what I could do? I could go 7. If he counters it, I attack into 2 of his little guys. I just kind of plays it safe. But Sakazuki be like coming back out of nowhere. So I think I just wanted to pressure. So I go 8 here, kind of see what happens. Oh, matter of fact, this works as well. Because I'm going to go 8. Even if he can guard this 8, I swing 9. He has to give up his Borsellino. And there's no way he's killing me with the 4 units on his board. So it actually works out. The play I made was correct. It works out. Because I was talking about playing it safe. I was swinging at both of his little guys. But by forcing him to use Borsellino, we're in a good position. We're in a good position like that as well. So I guess it could have went either way there. Like if he had a Borsellino and he just luckily had like a bunch of 2Ks in his hand, that would have been rough. But I think pressuring like this was fine in my opinion. Gives him less of an opportunity to randomly come back, right? Because with 2 cards in hand, Sakazuki could have like Rebecca, Hina, Lucci, Ice Age, Moria, like they just be coming back. And then bam, we swing 6K, 1K, 1K, bam, we're lit. As you can see in my life, out of 1K and a 2K, we were just not dying. So let's go ahead and debrief what just happened. So obviously that was just a small example of just, you know, some of the mistakes you can make in Moria. Like I showed you all the mistakes at the start of the video. Then I made a very small mistake there. And as you can see, that mistake actually costed me. Like if the Sakazuki player drew better than he did, like let's say he did have the Ice Age in the Moria, or he had Rebecca, Hina, Lucci, I think I would have been in a rough spot. And it was just unnecessary, right? Because I could have easily been up like a card if I just used the Great Eruption early. By using the Great Eruption early, I gave myself a better chance to draw into Perona. Or maybe I get myself closer to Moria, a second Moria to return off the Hog, like just stuff like that. So just watch out for little things like that, because that's a play right there where let's say the game played out better, like the Sakazuki player had more cards, and then let's say I lost by like a 1K counter or something. That's where people would be like, oh my god, Sakazuki saw everything, I lost by 1K counter, blah blah blah. But really I could have given myself better odds by putting something, by using a Great Eruption, and then I would have been up an extra card for the rest of the game. So, and I did end up drawing the second Great Eruption later on anyway. So really just keep little things like that in mind. With that being said, let me know what you guys think about Moria. Once again, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I did just drop like a full Moria guide with like the theory behind the deck building, the matchup, stuff like that. So check that out on Patreon. Let me know what you guys think about Moria, and if there's any other mistakes I didn't point out in the comments below. And with that being said, I'll catch y'all in the next one, hopefully soon. I'll be late on videos. Peace.